Happy Friday. Happy NFT Drop Day. I have EQ.Exchange joining me. My girl Lottie's going to jump on here any moment. Let's go. Here she is. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, here we are. Back again.
So, yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, sorry, I had to get off Bluetooth. I'm in the car. I just drove to Orlando.
Oh, you're in Orlando. Nice.
Yes, but I'm like, our timing. My timing is getting a little late. I'm like, we'll just do this in the car.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine.
Yeah. So yeah, super excited that we're doing this today.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Can you double check your audio and make sure we're talking mode?
Oh,
not
yeah.
black music.
Fix it. Okay, is that better?
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Nice to see you. That's my cousin
I
from
love
Facebook.
it.
Yes.
That's so sweet.
Girl, today we have dropped, we're about to launch my first music NFT, which is just a opportunity basically for artists and fans to connect a little bit deeper. There's a, financial exchange, but then the token, if you will, is loaded with rewards and access and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, so we're excited about that. Have you, just curious, hi, we're getting some people loaded on right now, so there might be some repetition, but I'm just curious if anybody out there is already using digital wallets, if you're already dabbled in crypto at all. Let us know.
Let us know.
Yes, because I kind of was excited about the CeeLo cryptocurrency when I heard about it. And I don't know if they're still saying it anymore, like carbon negative or carbon neutral.
Yeah.
Are they still promoting it that way? That's pretty cool.
I think it's actually the first true carbon negative blockchain, so that's really special in that regard. A lot of the other blockchains are striving to be carbon neutral, so that way it's like net zero negative effect on the environment. But CeeLo in and of itself is carbon negative because they actually go out of their way to plant trees in the Amazon to offset any emissions. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Yesterday I was all prepared with like my hit list of all the stuff to go through, and then I thought today, maybe we could run through some of it again, but
yeah, for sure. We can run through some of it again, and as we get closer to the time, then you could talk a little bit more about your music and why you chose this song, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, amazing. So if you guys are just joining us, we're dropping my first NFT today. This is Lottie. She's with EQ.Exchange, which is a platform that is basically partly, made by the artists and also for the artists. And it's a great women-run company that is focused on helping musicians and artists to really get their fair share. And actually, could you tell us a little bit that what is they're equalizing? Like, what is the little blurb on that? We didn't talk about that yesterday.
Sure. So, as you all know, in the traditional music industry, the labels and the publishers have the upper hand when it comes to music, which is created by the artist, but unfortunately not owned by the artist and not controlled by the artist. And artists don't get to really monetize off their music as they should through traditional means. So the whole point of Web3 and music NFTs and what EQ.Exchange is so passionate about is really equalizing the playing field, which means that instead of us, having the artists be subjected to us, we're really joining them in partnership to ensure that they can be able to reach their fans in the best way and profit off of their own music.
Yes, cool. Very good. It's funny because as an independent artist and not having been signed to any label, with the exception of like a short stint a few years ago, and that didn't go so well, like nothing really came out of it. I basically had to start my own label, which is a tremendous amount of financial and energy investment, and obviously learning and doing the publishing and registering everything and making sure your contracts are in place and distribution, and
It's a lot.
it's a lot. So um, but then, so it's good to find out that, you know, we're gonna have more opportunities to actually like raise funds and incorporate our fans and make projects that
Yeah.
can really be wholly funded by your supporters right from the get go.
Right.
I'm curious, so because somebody's gonna ask me, so like, is it a song? Like the NFT, is it a song? And what's interesting is that like it doesn't play. So, you know, and the NFT, is it the picture? You know,
Yeah,
is it the song as the NFT? How would you explain that
for sure.
to my
Yeah, so,
followers?
that's a great question. So generally, with a lot of the artists that we work with, whatever song they decide to put on the blockchain either is already available on streaming or will be made available on streaming. So essentially, when it comes to the actual like listening or enjoyment part of the music, that's going to come through more traditional means, whether that's through like iTunes or DSP or anything like that. The point of the NFT in and of itself is not necessarily to listen to it on the platform or in your wallet or anything like that. And that's true for essentially pretty much any music NFT platform. The point of it is one, to be able to support artists that you love, two, be able to connect with them more closely, three, be able to have some sort of like ownership component in that music, and four, to be able to benefit based off of whatever perks or what we call utility that the NFT offers. So really, it's more so something that should be seen as like a token or an access pass to other things that you're unlocking with that particular artist.
So that resonates with me because, like recently, Ticketmaster has started making your tickets for concerts accessible, like in your Google Wallet or in your
Hmm.
Samsung Wallet. And in fact, like they won't take just a PDF or like a printout
Yeah,
anymore.
right.
They want to see like this weird like scanning shimmery
Yeah,
like QR
yeah.
code that is, you know. And so, and your digital wallets, I know we talked about some of these things a little bit yesterday, but your digital wallet is just where you would connect your existing debit or credit card with like crypto, any different kind of crypto
Yeah,
that you want to basically store.
essentially. So for those who are a little bit more like well versed in what happens in Web3 and crypto, they might already have a Coinbase wallet or a MetaMask or something of that sort. For those who are a little newer, that's why we recommend Valora, because that's like an easier one to have, and that just has you connect to your credit card or bank account directly. Otherwise, when you log on to the EQ site, you have what we call a Magic Link wallet, which is something that is automatically generated using your email. And we make it super easy for people to be able to log in and access. So there's different ways that people can go about participating in this space on our platform. It just kind of depends on how much you already know.
Got it. And Valora is a separate app.
Yes, Valora is a
Is it
separate.
an app in itself? Okay,
Yep,
because
yep,
like
yep.
I mentioned before that I had Coinbase from a while ago, and I personally am not a fan of like the interface. I feel like it's like glitchy or just, I don't know,
Yeah,
strange.
Coinbase
Like,
is interesting, and it depends on which Coinbase you have, right? Because there's Coinbase Pro, and then there's Coinbase Wallet. So there's actually
right.
three different situations there with Coinbase, and in order to have an NFT, you would need to have crypto in a wallet. You can't just
Yeah.
like use the exchange for that, though. I think Coinbase did introduce like Coinbase NFT, but there hasn't been much chatter about that just yet.
Okay.
But Valora is what we found to be the most user friendly, and also it's like CeeLo specific as well. And if you go into the Valora app, if you get download it off the App Store, it even has like instructions on, you know, different ways you can use it, how you can get rewards. It has like a little like library section. We have a library too on our webpage, about how you can learn more about crypto. So I love Valora.
Cool. Yeah, so we're using a lot of words that if somebody just like jumps in and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I talked to
Yeah.
my girlfriend last night. She's like, "Oh, I saw your live stream," and I had no clue what you're talking about. So I want to just constantly bring it back to just simplify, like, what are we talking about?
For
Like, I don't
sure.
understand any of this. Basically, today we're launching a limited run of digital tokens, the NFTs or megs or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And this is the Our Time edition. So my song Our Time, which I originally hoped would be really like a spark for change, if you will. Like
Yeah.
I wanted it to have some kind of nonprofit motivation. I wanted it to be able to be used by nonprofits, and or the lyrics are just like, this is our place, this is our time, what are you doing with your life, what am I doing with mine? We can't just wait till it's too late. Let's be the spark to light the flame, and we can fire up the world today. And that's a lot, but it's just it's the point of, like, it's a call to action. So I felt like that would be the good song to pick for this. But like we said, it's not, the NFT is not the song. And it's not so much about like the artwork, it's more about like an access pass. So and with that access pass, we've loaded in what are called utilities, but in layman's term, they're just rewards that basically you get perks for having ownership of this. So the cool thing is, for Alicia, if you're watching, or anybody else that's like, I still don't understand what is an NFT, you don't have to worry about what is NFT. What this is basically is an offering that I've created for my fans or family or followers to purchase. And once you've purchased it, you get a list of a bunch of different rewards, and that includes streaming royalties, merchandise, exclusive song access. I have like 100 songs on a playlist that more than half of nobody's ever heard, and a one-on-one video call, and then like visitation in my studio recording session, so like access to the session live while we're recording and working on that stuff. And in exchange, the price is, I think we have it at like 160 CELO, which is about $160. And there are only 25 of these tokens, so I don't have to go above and beyond like a crazy amount. I'm not overextending myself, but at the same time, I am bringing real value to whoever wants to support me, and not only like a solid thank you and access, but like, hey, come on this journey a little bit with me, so it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. So that thing is going live in 15 minutes basically. And
so exciting. And also, as if you just wanted to talk a bit more about how you got into crypto and Web3, why you decided to make this song and NFT.
That's a good question. I think, there was obviously a big blow up last year of NFTs, and like we have Art Basel here in Miami, and for the first time, at least that I noticed, like there were NFT, booths everywhere, and of course it came up like, well, when is this going to happen with music? And it kind of feels like it had already happened at some point. But at the beginning of this year, there were actually 3 different companies that came across my path, or that somebody had directly introduced me to, that were doing what we're trying to do. We're trying to do what we are doing now, as far as like creating NFTs. One of them was an NFT player, and then they wanted to distribute artists as well. And each of them had a very different set of kind of parameters of how to be involved and like how you would get paid. And this EQ.Exchange I love from the very beginning because of all of the pillars on which it's founded. So like, I love that they're specifically using CELO as opposed to Ethereum or something else, which is the carbon negative. So that's conscious about the environment. It's not trying to just take without giving back, which I love. And then also that, like you were talking about earlier, that's about equalizing the playing field. It's about equalizing the opportunity and giving the artist the ability to reap benefits from providing services, if you will, providing creativity, providing music and art, and being willing to have a relationship. And I was pretty stoked just to go, and I was kind of just going to go on all 3 of them, just see what happened. But honestly, the other ones are kind of on hiatus right now. Who knows what's going on? But so it's kind of good that it worked out to go with EQ first. One, because it was the one I was more excited about anyway. And I feel like it just was trending, and that's how it just came across my plate. And I thought, if I'm going to be continuing to make music, I might as well take advantage of all of the different avenues. Like, especially, I told you before, I've had to really become my own label. So I'm aware of the different streams of income from touring and merchandise and streaming, which is a teeny tiny thing. NFTs, I thought that's really just a new stream of income, and it's just a new opportunity. So it's not some big, I didn't want to make it some huge thing that I have to go in and understand. Like, I don't understand a lot of things I'm involved in, like maybe the sync world and commercial sync and exactly all the intricacies of how it works. I don't have the capacity to learn all that, but I do know how to pitch my songs and to whom they need to go. So it's the same with the NFTs. Like, I don't really know how all the smart contracts work and stuff like that, but I do know that I can go through EQ.Exchange and create an opportunity and give my fans something really meaningful. So I wouldn't.
All of the above what you just said, and I think that's so true, right? It's like we don't actually know the mechanics of a lot of things when it comes to music listening or music payment. But like you said, take advantage of all of the opportunities and the technology that's available, that makes it easy for you to be able to connect with your fans, and that makes it easy for you to be able to monetize your music, and that makes it easy for you to grow your community. And it's like you said, it's like when it comes to tech, a lot of us don't know. Like, we don't even know how like our iPhones work or how Wi-Fi works or any of that stuff. But we know that it's useful and that it's impactful. So you made some really excellent points just now.
Yeah. How did you get into the crypto in NFC world?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm super similar to you. It's like between like the pandemic happening and the rise of Clubhouse, that's how I got more involved into what was happening. I had spent just a lot of time like in Clubhouse rooms, just like listening to people, and also, one of the phrases that's really popular in Web3 is DYOR, which is do your own research. And I spent a lot of time doing that and just kind of getting an understanding. And I think what made things more clear to me is when I saw how it was impacting my friends. So I had some music friends who, were struggling artists, and they got into Web3, and next thing you know, they're like, yeah, I could do music full time now. Off one NFT collection, I made like $10,000, and I was like, oh, damn, like, what's going on
Wow.
here? And then also, like, even with so the profile picture NFTs, which are like the JPEGs, got really popular. And one of my friends was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get like a Bored Ape. It's like only like $800 now. And I was like, girl, I'm not spending no $800 on a picture. And next thing you
Right.
know, balloons to like worth like $800,000. And I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. I
Didn't
see the potential.
understand that. I still don't understand that, but I still don't understand that. And that maybe I never
Supply and
will, because
demand.
even if you
That's
just,
that. When it comes to anything, that's like on the blockchain, and it's very similar to like what happens in the stock market. It's like a lot of things don't necessarily have inherent value until a certain group of people agree that it does. And
exactly.
based off of that, if there's some sort of scarcity or whatnot, supply and demand.
Exactly. So I know in platforms like OpenSea, which if anybody doesn't know, OpenSea is an exchange platform where you can create your NFT, you can make it available, you can
Yep.
decide. Like we did yesterday, we did a live minting. So we picked the number that were available, we built in all the rewards that we wanted to be a part of it, and
Hmm.
then when we minted it, then that smart contract became like permanent in the space in
On the
space.
blockchain.
Yes, in the blockchain. Thank you. Not in space. The
No, it's
blockchain is, I
good.
think, in space. But so, so OpenSea, you can sell and resell
Yeah,
NFTs,
yeah.
right? And what we're doing is not quite that yet. Is that something we're not reselling them right now? But is that
Yeah.
something that maybe is going to happen in the future?
Uh-huh, absolutely. So it's funny because so OpenSea is a cool platform. I like to refer to it sort of like I guess like the Google or eBay of NFT platforms, because it's like basically pretty much anything that is sold on the blockchain on what we call the primary market, which is what we are. They can be resold on the secondary market, which is mainly what OpenSea is for. So people can have their initial primary releases on OpenSea, or they can just have the secondary. And so CeeLo NFTs are not yet available for OpenSea on secondary, but it's something that can happen soon because essentially, slowly but surely, OpenSea is adding all of the blockchains to it. So it
That's
started
cool.
out being Ethereum only, then it expanded to Polygon, then it expanded to Solana. I'm not sure if they have Tezos yet, but they're basically slowly but surely adding on other blockchains so that basically pretty much any sort of NFT can eventually be available for resale on OpenSea.
Got it. That kind of helps me understand a little bit, or maybe even just piques my interest a little bit more. So each coin, as we say, Solana
Yeah.
or Ethereum or whatever, that is its own blockchain.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so anything that's sold in that blockchain, those smart contracts exist in that blockchain.
That's correct.
Got it. And so then any exchange, and I'm sure there are others other than just OpenSea
Yeah,
and
sure.
EQ.Exchange, they operate on, they pick one that on which to do their blockchain.
Right.
But and so like if you go to, for instance, if we go to the CeeLo website, if we just Google what is CeeLo, and CeeLo is the blockchain on which our NFTs with EQ.Exchange are
Yeah.
created. If you go there and you read it, it's almost like, oh, and I don't have it in front of me, but so I'll paraphrase, but it basically is just telling you like what they stand for and like what they're
Yeah.
trying to create in community and stuff like that. So
Right.
how does their real life people and efforts translate into a digital space for contracts, which we call the blockchain?
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, and this is one of the main reasons why our founder Janice Taylor was so drawn to CeeLo because it's not just about transactions on the blockchain, even though those are important. There are real people in real life making real changes in the world. So they're going to the Amazon and they're planting trees. They're going to
Right.
underprivileged countries in South America or Africa or Europe to ensure that people are educated on this space and can get involved. One of the main reasons why CeeLo is mobile first is because they want to ensure that as long as you have a phone, you can be involved. You don't need a laptop or a desktop computer. So
Interesting.
it's not just about the coin in and of itself or the blockchain in and of itself. It's like what can be manifested in real life because of what
Yeah.
happens on the blockchain, and it's not something that you really see with not a lot of other blockchains.
So if you or I were in Uganda and we have cell phone and internet, and somebody says, "Hey, check out CeeLo," would it be like an app?
Yeah,
That,
so essentially, one of the easier ways to do it is Valora app, and we love them because they're like CeeLo specific, and so in there, you can buy CeeLo and you could send it. It's
got it.
very similar to kind of if you were using Venmo, so it's like the
Yeah.
Venmo for the blockchain, and so you could add friends.
Got
Depending on if you have what they call like stable coin, which is supposed to be the equivalent to either the US dollar or to UK currency or Brazilian currency, you're able to convert your money directly into that and also gain rewards based off of what you have. So it gives people like incentives to want to be involved in what's happening in the space. So it's like you're learning, but you're also like growing your money, but you're also connecting with people. And then CELA will have like conferences and workshops and other types of initiatives all over the world to be able to actually meet with these people in real life
it.
to be able to help with
And
different initiatives.
and I'm sorry if this sounds like a really redundant question, but like, so then what would be the motivation of that person to, aside from the rewards like you said,
Yeah.
and like a Venmo app? So then if using the Venmo app is the motivation for the app to be able to send and receive cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it's for them to, excuse me, to be easily able to do that because in a lot of these countries, the inflation is out of control to the point where
Yeah.
their native currency doesn't really mean much in the long term of things. So that's why one of the reasons why blockchain and cryptocurrency is so imperative because it creates a certain type of stability that just doesn't exist when it comes
Right.
to fiat or regular money.
Got it. I'm on my cell phone, so I don't think I have the opportunity right now to share the screen, which, and I know you are too.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I won't be able to go back to the website right now, as we're just 5 minutes away from this NFT launching. 4 minutes, which is
5 minutes.
super exciting. And we have about twice as many people watching now. And I want to just shout out a couple comments. thank you guys for being engaged. EQ.Exchange said we're so great to have you as a part of the family. Thank you. And Andre was chiming in about it's not just the JPEG on the tokens, it's about the people behind the NFT and the utility of the
Yeah,
token.
that's a
So it's not,
fantastic point.
yeah, it's not the picture, it's not the song that is the thing. It's the extras that are built in. And
Exactly.
because you own the NFT, then you own the access and you own the extras. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I want to just go through really quickly while we have the chance again. Um, the Our Time NFT, which is the NFT that we're putting out together at noon, and what's built into that. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I put out a song called Our Time a few months ago, and it's super cool. It's produced by my friend Shahab, OIM Music in LA. It's got cool, interesting vibes. It was co-written with my girlfriend Case, which I just
Oh,
love
that's
because she's the one who
beautiful.
came up with the "What are you doing with your life? What am I doing with mine?" And so when I wrote the verses later, I was really thinking about like how you just either find someone or can be found by someone kind of like lost. It like the visuals for me is like out in a desert road, like on a desert road, just like there's nothing out here. Like how did I get here? I'm a mess. And somebody
Right.
comes along and is like, hey, like come on, let's get out of here, let's go do something more meaningful. And for me it was like getting away from the mess of life and deciding intentionally to live a better life and make better choices, and also to like take anybody with me that I could. For me that was also was really important, was like getting stronger in my faith and like increasing my daily like spiritual practices that just
Mm.
helped like encourage me and make me feel stronger. And like I had to start processing and healing from like a bunch of emotional junk from the past. And over time it definitely got better. And this song actually we wrote several years ago, so the fact that it finally came out, and I wasn't super confident how it would do, but it's actually getting the most playlist ads on Spotify without any promotion, which is
People
cool.
need music like this. It really like wakes people up and encourages people. And I think especially with everything that we've experienced and witnessed during the pandemics, I'm saying pandemics plural because there's a bunch of different things. It's important, and I think it puts things into perspective for people, right? And I know you
Yeah.
had said you written this song a few years ago, but our time can be a few years ago, it could be yesterday, it could be now, it could be tomorrow. So it's like songs like that are timeless.
Yeah. That's a good point. And I feel like our time is always now, because now is all we have. Like there's no point in. Oh my gosh, there's a massive hot air balloon over there. I wish I could show you, but I don't think you'll be able to see. Squirrel. Um, you know, all we have is now. We don't know about tomorrow, so it's a great time to just start processing and to open up your heart with somebody that you can trust, and like work through the funk. Like
We
everybody
want
needs
it
somebody.
away. Want it away. I'm so excited.
Okay, yes. And I saw EQ.Exchange from the Twitter platform did drop in the link for the NFT, which is awesome. I don't know that we could do that on. I probably can't do links in Instagram, so it's no problem. But the good news is that if you're on any of my social websites, there's a link in bio, and it's the first link. So you click the link in bio, it's probably the first link on there. So it's like get my NFT or our time NFT. So, and that'll take you right to the page where you can. It's 12 o'clock. We're dropping right now. So,
We're
um,
live. Woo woo.
yay, it's
We're live.
live. So I'm super excited about that. If anybody wants to check it out, you can go to my link in bio and click the NFT. There's also, if you're on Twitter, somebody did drop the link, the direct link in the Twitter platform. Super excited about this. If you purchase this Our Time token, thank you, Daniel. If you purchase this Our Time token, basically 10% of what you pay goes straight to Hope for Ukraine, a charity that I vetted out myself, and I really support what they're doing. Yeah. You're also going to get a percentage of the streaming royalties. So of the 25 NFTs, I'm giving 10% of my streaming royalties for 5 years. So that gets divided by 25. It's like 0.4%. And so we'll be uploading monthly or quarterly statements. I'm not sure exactly how that works yet. To the platform, so you can actually see how you're going to be sharing in that. I also got these really big Do I have it in here? I don't have it in here. I got these really big, awesome hand folding fans, like the kind you like flip open and like, you know, they're massive because it's like a wind. So I'm gonna send one of those out to you. It says Ash on it. They're just fun. They're in the summer here in Miami. Like I live with one of those things.
Girl, we need that because it is.
Yes, I have a miniature one here. Like, because I just need these in my life. Hold on,
Yeah,
let's see.
it is hot.
But mine is big and mine is twice the size and it's black and it says Ash on it.
I love it. I love it.
So great right now. And then what else is in there? I'm gonna whoever has it will get also access to my private SoundCloud, which has about 100 songs on it. And if you follow me, you know I've probably only put out like 30. So most of these are just unreleased, or maybe they're just like super demo mode, but you can hear stuff that I'm working on or have worked on or sitting around, and you know you can shout out sometime. You're like, hey, what are you gonna do with this song? If you like one. Another thing is I want to do a one-on-one, a 15-minute video call with whoever is purchasing these, just to say thank you and just to share. It might be somebody I know, it might be somebody I don't know. So I just want to get to know you guys better and answer any questions or talk music or listen to your ideas or whatever. And then the last one, which is a big one for me, is to actually bring you into a recording session. So that'll be a remote call, but basically like I'll set up the laptop while we're writing, while we're recording, and that's usually like a 2 to 3 hour process. So I think that'll be super cool if you've never seen that, to get in live with me and work on a new song, and I'll check in and it'll be awesome. We have some random question. I don't know the answer to this question on Reddit. What is quantization of energy? Does that resonate with you?
I'm not quite sure. Maybe they're speaking to like the nature of the blockchain, because essentially CeeLo is a proof of stake blockchain as opposed to proof of work, which means that it uses a lot less energy. So if that's what this question is about, I'm not sure the
Well,
exact
it's a valid point, regardless.
It's a lot less energy.
Okay, good. If anybody has any questions, if you check out the link and you go and you want to work on that, feel free to drop them here. No pressure either way. In lieu of that, I want to just shout out to any of my artists, producer friends, or anybody who's creating music right now or really wants to engage their fans. And before I say that, I want to confirm with you, Lottie, this is primarily music NFTs, right? It's not for anything else.
Yeah, music NFTs, music video NFTs, or like certain types of like access passes, so they won't even have necessarily music attached. Yeah, but it's all music things.
Cool. So, but it is music related. So if you are one of my followers, fans, friends, and are music inclined and creating music, and you want to be able to use, you want a new tool, if you would like to get into this new opportunity, like we said earlier, streaming is a stream of income, merchandise is a stream of income, touring is a stream of income, commercial sing some placements is a stream of income, NFTs is just another stream of income. And EQ.Exchange made it so easy for me to have a conversation, talk about, you know, I picked a song, you could pick a video, you could pick an album. Ashanti is a co-owner and the debut artist who released on this platform. And she released 4 NFTs, all at different prices, so different tiers, like the gold, the platinum, the diamond. And within each one was like a set of all of the access and things that you get as perks of being a part of it. So, so in that example, you know, we simplified my first release, which I think was smart because I don't have a very big following right now. But I haven't been putting out music for a very long time. This is just my first year. I'll be wrapping up of actual releases under my artist name. So the cool thing is that we've created a limited run at a good price for what's included. And if you're an artist or a producer or musician and you want to do something like that, just reach out to Lottie. You're below on my screen. I might be above on yours.
Yeah, I'm below on my screen too.
Okay, good. So reach out to Lottie, reach out to EQ.Exchange. They're incredibly helpful. They made it, especially over the last few months, their platform has gotten more and more simple. And we walked through it yesterday on the site. We just looked at, the
Yeah.
opportunity and all the rewards and the information. So it was very straightforward and super easy to mint it. And I love, that you guys even gave me ideas of things to put in there as far
Yeah,
as
for
utility.
sure.
While we're on that, what are some of the most common rewards that you're seeing? And then what's something that like you haven't seen, like something that odd that somebody threw in there or really special? What are, as
Yeah,
far as
that's a great question. So, some of the more common types of utility or perks are obviously like streaming royalties. Like people love to be able to reward their fans that way. Virtual meet and greet, so like a Zoom call. Um, Merch if they have that available. Those are some of the more common types of things. I think the Ashanti definitely like went all out with hers. So for her, she's like walk the red carpet with me, or the studio session stuff is cool. I mean, obviously anyone could do a studio session, but it's like Ashanti's like a legend, so it's like to sit in the studio with her, for hours and watching her create and record. It's like whoa, like that's a once in a lifetime type of experience. So it's definitely very cool seeing the types of things that are available.
and one thing that you guys do with every NFT is that you have the artist to designate a charitable foundation.
Organization.
Can you tell us about that and how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, our founder Janice Taylor, she's really passionate about giving back and helping the world. That's why we're built on the Silo blockchain, and that's why we have the component where generally it's anywhere between 1 and 10% of an artist's NFT revenue goes to support their charity of choice. So it's for us.
Got it.
One, the purpose of that obviously is to financially support a charitable organization. Two, it's to help onboard said charitable organization into Web3 because a lot of them don't really have any understanding at all of what happens in this space, but we think that it could be really beneficial to them, and it could also be an opportunity for them to be able to explore ways that they can create their own NFT to support whatever they're doing.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
That's actually really fascinating. So the first thing that I just thought of while you're talking is just so that I get this right. When Ruben buys my NFT for 160 silo, the first 10%, because that's what I've designated, 16 silo would go to Hope for Ukraine. So we have to make sure that they have a wallet set up.
Right. Right. So
And
we
as that grows in value over time, that actually could grow in value in their wallet over time as
absolutely,
well.
yeah, and we contact all of the charities on the artist's behalf to be able to walk them through the best way to be able to do that because we want to make it simple for them the same way we make it simple for you. So we help them set up their wallet or figure out the best way to be able to get those funds to them regularly.
Amazing. And then the second thing that I thought is like, yeah, absolutely charities, charitable organizations, nonprofits, anybody who's really got a cause that they're believing in and
Yeah,
need to generate revenue
yeah,
can create awesome opportunities, that have perks built in and have, a dollar amount, but it's really not about the money, right? You know that you're giving something to help the cause, but also that you're getting some cool interaction and access in
right.
return. So do you foresee EQ.Exchange offering them that type of thing, or do you know of another platform that is solely focused on like nonprofits?
That is a really great question. I actually don't know of a platform that's solely focused on that. But I will say that technically we can do it even right now for nonprofits if they were to tie perhaps a musical element to it. So if they
Right.
were to
Sure.
partner with an artist or if they were to have a bunch of independent artists attach music to their NFT. So there's ways to actually go about it as long as there's some
Yeah.
sort of musical component.
Yeah. Got it. Cool. Okay, our chat's pretty quiet, which is totally fine. I do see we have 99 people watching across all the platforms right now. So if you guys have any questions for me or for Lottie about music NFTs, about my NFT it just came out 10 minutes ago. It's called Our Time. The link is in my bio if you want to check it out. Or if you have any general questions, now's the time. The floor is yours, but we'll just keep chatting until we see something come
Yeah, for
through.
sure. Don't be shy, you guys.
Uh,
We are here to be able to answer any and all questions. Make sure that you check out the EQ.Exchange Twitter, and it's the same at as it is here. It's EQ_exchange. And then you'll be able to see we retweeted the live video of this, and we also have the live link for you to be able to purchase as just NFT.
yeah,
And if you have any like troubleshooting questions too, please, please, please reach out so we can be able to walk you through any of that.
yeah. If you go to EQ.Exchange, you actually have to click launch app, don't you, to like get to the
Yes, that's
where all
correct.
the
You go to EQ.Exchange, you click launch app. If you have an account, you log in. If you don't, you'll create an account. And then it should be relatively straightforward from there.
awesome, cool. Let's see. Is there anything else? I gotta also just take a moment because we're using this great platform right now, to shout out the Reach app. So, Reach.me, which you can see here, has been going through just really a beta phase of different apps, and most recently they were allowing us to live stream like we are right now across multiple platforms, but that function is actually about to end. But what they are going to be doing, which is super cool, I'm just gonna dumb it down to like Tinder style artist collaborations.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so it's basically like swipe right, swipe left, but it's not just about finding other producers and songwriters to collaborate with. It's also can be about finding other brands that maybe are aligned with your music. So for different levels of artists and different with different followings and that kind of thing, there are going to be an incredible amount of opportunities in the Reach app. So if that's something that you're interested in, also as an artist or producer or songwriter, etc., or even if you're a brand and you're watching this, definitely hit me up, DM me, or check into Reach.me. You might be able to just get them that way. But I have like invites actually, so I can send you one, and get you connected with some really great people over there who have been incredibly supportive. And I just want to say thank you, particularly to Pablo, who's been out there, and Ashley, who's not there anymore, but was definitely helpful in the beginning. And I'm excited for this app and how it's going to, continue to evolve and how we'll be able to use it. And um, I don't know how it's going to be yet because it's not out yet, but it's
Yeah,
coming. So I'm excited.
that's awesome. Like, thanks for mentioning that. Thanks for recommending them to us. Like, we're excited to be here on the platform and see like what we can
Yeah,
do and how we can connect with more people. And everyone who's
absolutely.
watching, make sure to follow Ash. Make sure that you follow Reach.me on. I know they're on Instagram. I'm not sure if they're on any other platforms, but download the app, get involved, and see how you can learn more.
Yeah. So while we're talking about collaboration, that's another thing that EQ.Exchange is promoting among artists. Can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we are also in our own second phase or second iteration of EQ. And so initially it was all about artists being onboarded from Web 2 to Web 3 and releasing their music NFTs. And now we're expanding to artists being able to work with our different partners, whether that's financial partners, marketing partners, creative collaborators, or distributors. You'll be able to find them through the EQ dashboard in due time. So if those are things that you're interested in, go to EQ_exchange if you're on Twitter, or EQ.exchange if you are on Instagram, EQ.Exchange if you're just on Facebook, and check out the link in our bio. So that way you can figure out who you like to be connected with and be some of the first people to know when that goes live on our site.
That's cool. Will you guys be utilizing smart contracts to help people connect in those ways?
That is an interesting question. I think it might be slightly more straightforward than that. I mean, a smart contract is always going to be involved at some point or another, if it's Web3 related, but we actually also have the capability to connect with Web 2 partners, so it might not require necessarily that technology.
This is probably going to sound like a dumb question to some people, but not to a lot of people. So, what's the difference between Web3 and Web2?
No, that's a great question because trust me, that's not common knowledge. So, Web 2 and Web 3 are just two different versions of the internet. So, currently, for the most part, we're in a Web 2 world. So, whenever you send an email or go to a website or go on a social media app, that's all Web 2, where essentially you have these large conglomerates or multi-billion-dollar companies that own that site or that software, and essentially you're just like a renter on there. So you have an email account or you have whatever else, but you definitely don't necessarily have access to the data, and you're most likely not monetizing off of any of those things. And basically, they create their fortune off of the user base. So that's Web 2, that's the traditional world. Web 3 is the newest iteration of the internet or the newest version of the internet. So essentially, it is by creators and for creators, by users and for users. So you create whatever is placed on what we call the blockchain, which is basically just an open ledger of information and transactions. And not only do you create that, but whatever you create, you own. Whatever you purchase, you own. And there's, like I said, an open ledger. So essentially, you can see who created this, who owns this, who sold this, how much did they sell it for, how long did that person have it. And having that sort of transparency is a huge game changer because it allows for creators and users to basically have the power over whatever they create, own that data, and be able to monetize off of that.
Interesting. And when we're talking about like things that are created, like you can create anything, obviously we know like NFTs, like art and music and stuff like that, but do you also mean like functions, like functionality, like systems? Like Gmail is a system that I
Yeah,
use, right? Like plug in. So you're
absolutely.
saying that people can really just create functions that others can come and use,
Yeah,
and we can just check who owns
absolutely.
this, who
And it's
created.
so interesting, right? Because that's part of the reason why platforms exist, right? Because NFTs in and of themselves are really just one aspect of Web3. Web3 is like a whole ecosystem, and NFTs are like this teeny part right here. Obviously, like in pop culture, that's what you hear about the most because they're one of the more like popular types of applications. But so basically, what's the most interesting about Web3 and the blockchain is the technology in and of itself. And that can be the underbelly of really everything and anything. It can come to a point where everything on your bank is on the blockchain, or everything that you do on the internet is on the blockchain. And it's going to get to the point where you won't even call it the blockchain, you'll just call it the internet. Because you won't realize that that technology is there and working. It just becomes so a part of the tech and a part of society that it's just like, oh, I went on this site, but you're not going to say, oh, I went to this Web3 site. It just becomes a site because it's really about
Right.
simplifying the user interface to the point where it won't matter one way or another if it's on the blockchain or not.
Right. So in a way, I mean, just the way that in Web 2, we'll go back to that. We have everybody's making their own websites. You have your own company. Yeah, we are also using Facebook and Instagram and Gmail, and we're using, we're using existing systems and structures, even WordPress or Wix, to make
Yeah,
our own website.
yeah,
So it's kind of like that a little bit, except that now it's like which some people might be like, I'll just take the system, I don't want to have to create one, but like now more individuals will be creating that, so it's really just it's making what big conglomerates into just like smaller chunks that everybody can
exactly,
have.
exactly.
What do you think would be like Web 4 then, like more collaborative stuff?
Um, yeah, it's so funny because there's a lot of discussion of Web 4, Web 5, Web 6, and so on and so forth.
I'll
Um,
see you at Web 8. Okay, you guys figure it
Web
out.
8. We tweeted about that once on the EQ Twitter.
Oh, you
Um,
did.
but I think that's a great question. Um, I couldn't quite say. I think though when it comes to at least Web 3, what I'm looking forward to seeing is just an improvement in the UI UX. Just because right now, um, it can be a little clunky or it can be a little difficult. It's like having to like connect a wallet. That's extra steps. That's a barrier to entry. Having
Right.
to have
UI
crypto.
UX is
Extra
user
steps.
interface and user experience.
Exactly. User interface, user
Yeah.
experience. Thank you. Sometimes I don't realize these terms need to be
Okay.
stated plainly. And
Yeah.
so if you're someone who is what they call a Web3 native or someone who's more immersed in Web3, then those things don't really bother you. But if you're someone who's like brand spanking new, especially when you don't really understand what's going on, you're just like, whoa, I have to get a different kind of money and a different type of this to be able to do this. It's like that's work. And so what I'm looking forward to seeing is more sites where you log in with your email or you sign up with your credit card, and on the back end, it's on the blockchain, but you don't have to realize that or have any knowledge of that on the front end.
Yeah. Do you think there's concern? I'm sorry, this whole conversation has really like evolved, but I'm just I'm gonna reel it back in a second. But just my last question: do you think there's concern with like just what you were saying, everything on the blockchain, like you can find out everything? Like, is there security and privacy concern there?
Yeah, it's security is something that I'm really passionate about in this space because I mean, let's be honest, hacks happen the same way like people can hack bank accounts or hack emails. Things that happen on the blockchain or wallets can be hacked. Um, and it's a little trickier to deal with that because right now there don't exist as many like government regulations. And when a market is unregulated, then it's sort of like a free for all until they start like cracking down on things and
Yeah.
implementing
There's
laws and
privacy.
things like that. And I know like you spoke of security. So one of the more recent changes that are being implemented is that they're starting to have mandatory KYC, which means know your customer. And essentially, that means nowadays, when you try to create a certain type of account on crypto platforms, it's going to ask you for your legal name. It's going to ask you to upload a picture of an identification. It's going to ask you to verify address and things like that because they don't want that anonymity that existed last year or 2 years ago. It's slowly being phased out because, and that's part of just protecting people, right? Imagine
Right.
if Imagine if IDs didn't exist or if your actual name wasn't tied to your bank account, then people can just do whatever they want and people can take people's identities and do all this type of stuff and without any way of being able to verify if this is actually this
Yeah.
person. So they're
Got
now
it.
trying to implement that for what's happening on the blockchain and there's a lot of controversy surrounding it, but I'm of the opinion that if it's going to help protect people who are not familiar with this space, then so be it. As long as you're not engaging in any criminal activity, you shouldn't be upset if your driver's license is tied to your account or if any of that
It's
other.
all good until it happens to your grandma.
Yeah, right,
And then,
exactly. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, there shouldn't be a problem. And paying your
amazing.
taxes and
Yeah,
doing all
thank you
those
for
things.
answering that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to circle all that back and let's just bring it back to the purpose of this live stream, which has zero to do with, not zero to do. I mean, this is a really cool, interesting conversation that's obviously going on every day all around the world and the web, as people are just sharing knowledge and coming to a bigger understanding collectively of like how Web3 works and what it is. But fortunately, none of that really matters today. What matters today is that we've created a really cool opportunity, using one of my songs as kind of the face of the opportunity. We've loaded it up with a bunch of rewards, with streaming royalties, with merchandise, with one-on-one call, with the studio session. So whoever buys the NFT, and there are 25 of them available, whoever buys them will be able to have access to all of the rewards that are built in. There's also a charity, and there's also like exclusive music. So I know we talked about some of that before, but obviously we don't have to worry about like hacksters on that kind of thing right now. This is just a really cool opportunity that you guys have created for me as an artist, and that is out there for any other artists who would like to create opportunities for their fans. We talked about Ashanti. She did different levels of tokens, and I might do in the future like a different price point. For
Yeah.
instance, like, oh, there's a $10 one, right? This one's a
Oh, for
hundred and
sure.
so
Yeah,
dollars.
there's all types of possibilities for it. But the cool thing is this
Yeah.
is your first one. So whoever purchases this very first one that she has, listen, it's just the beginning, right? And it's like
Right.
she's only gonna get bigger and better from here. And imagine being the first.
Thank you for that.
Seriously, like imagine,
Okay.
look at it like this. Imagine that like NFTs existed 20 years ago, and you got like Ashanti's NFT like just when she had dropped her debut album.
Right.
Or just
Yeah.
when Post Malone dropped his music, or when Justin
Insert your favorite
Bieber,
artist.
or
Right.
Usher, Beyonce. Like imagine like some of the biggest artists in the world. If you had owned something like that when they had first come out, when no one really knew if they're, and even before they, if I could have got an NFT when Justin Bieber was on YouTube, when Shawn Mendes was on Vine, because I knew then. It's like, imagine that stuff would be worth millions now.
What would you do with their NFT now? Would you like try to resell it? What kind of perks do you think would be like the most valuable for resale?
I'm not gonna hold you. I'd probably resell. If I had a Justin Bieber NFT 10 years ago, yeah, I'd resell because that'd be worth like a
Yeah,
couple million, and I could do a lot with a couple million.
right. That's interesting because one of the things that I think about, and maybe it's for the next mint, which is just like perks that continue to go on, like the rewards that. Sorry, my phone's starting to die. Rewards that go to the next purchaser as well. So if it
Yeah,
was access to, if it was the phone call, or if it was access to the Discord or the private music or whatever, that by transferring that, you also transfer the access. You no longer have access, but
exactly.
the next.
Well, no, that's actually a great point. So, and that's true for even membership NFTs now, right? So it's like there are different like types of like Web3 societies or communities, and if you sell that NFT, you lose access to that community. So now it's like, is the price of that NFT, is the profit you can make off that NFT worth losing access to X, Y, and Z? It might not be. And if it's not worth it,
Right.
you hold.
Sure. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, well, I tried to plug my phone in, but the battery is dropping real fast, so I'm
Ah,
down to 3 from 5. Everybody who's watching, thank you so much for joining us today. Lottie, thank you so much for helping me to explain all this. Thank you for answering all of our
yeah.
questions. You guys check out the link. My phone's going down fast. Check
Yeah.
out the link in my bio. Check out the link in the chat. EQ.Exchange. My opportunity is right there. And if you have any questions or any trouble, you can reach out to me. I will direct you back to them. Or you could just reach out to EQ directly. They're super helpful and they'll make it very easy. And yeah, artists, DM me if you want to get connected. We'll see you guys later. Thank you,
See
Lottie.
everyone. Thanks for joining and best of luck, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.